Despite the growth of these plants that I have here, I'm not actually much of a gardener. These plants, though, are pretty easy to care for. But if you know much about plants, then you can probably see that I should have already moved these to a different pot or container a while ago. They have some overgrowth and had outgrown these planters. The funny thing is that I seem to have this problem at times. Things that I actually want to grow, I struggle with. But the pumpkin seeds that I planted just to make my son happy a few years ago, and the tomato plants I did for my dad in high school grew like crazy. They kept growing and growing and kept producing more and more fruit. We had so many tomatoes that we couldn't even give them all away before they went bad. Even though I don't know a whole lot about gardening, I followed the advice and wisdom of people who did. Here's what I learned. When you care for, tend to, and nurture plants in the way that they need, you tend to see growth. I followed the wisdom and knowledge given and did what I was told, and behold, fruit was produced. Have you ever had a learning experience like that? Maybe it wasn't with plants, but in the same way, someone shared wisdom and knowledge with you that when you put it into practice, you saw results. Well, in this passage, Paul shares that the message of Christ being shared is bearing fruit everywhere. He goes on to use this plant and fruit concept in his prayer for this small group of believers in Colossae. He prays that God would give them complete knowledge of his wisdom and will and spiritual understanding so that they may produce every kind of good fruit. And while they do that, they will continue to grow as they learn to know God better and better. Learning to know God more is how we nurture that growth and tend to the fruit. When we come to know and understand the truth about God's grace, it should change our lives. The knowledge and wisdom should produce fruit and growth that can be seen and shared by others, even if it's not through the things, experiences, or circumstances that you would hope for or want. That's the beauty of God's truth and grace. It has the ability to grow and produce fruit anywhere and everywhere and through anything. So, are you bearing fruit? Is it good fruit? Does it reflect the good news of Jesus Christ and his life-changing power? If not, how can you allow the word of truth and the gospel to produce fruit in your life? Seek out the wisdom and knowledge that comes from getting to know God better through Scripture. Perhaps it looks like asking someone who is further along in their journey than you to mentor you. Whatever it looks like, allow God to grow fruit within you so that your life has changed, and then watch that growth spread to those around you.